Ariel Helwani getting ready for Strikeforce Houston with Bobby Lashley, who of course faces Chad Griggs this Saturday night live on Showtime. And Bobby, everyone is very excited to see you back in action. It's been a while. Update us on how much you've improved since the last time we saw you.
You know, I could tell you a whole bunch of different things, but I think the proof is going to be this weekend. I think I've been working a lot with my striking, of course. My trainer, I got a great trainer that I picked up with Andy Fong down there in San Jose. He's been working on my striking, and I think my striking's come along really well. I always have a wrestling background, so I'm always going to impose my wrestling on whoever I fight. And then had an opportunity to train with some different guys. Some of the guys down at AKA, I went down there and met with a couple of guys down there, a couple of friends of mine. Daniel Cormier, Cain Velasquez, Nate James, and a couple other guys down there. Went down there and rolled around with those guys and got some good training. And so I think all around my whole game has gotten better since my last fight until now.
You've had to deal with a few injuries along the way. How are you feeling now? And for those that don't know about them, what kind of injuries were they?
Injuries. I don't really think that I can call them injuries. I just had kind of setbacks. There was some different things that I had to – I kept putting off, and then it started becoming bigger and bigger problems. The first one was I had to have sinus surgery. It was just hindering my training all the way through. I was not able to breathe, and there's a whole bunch of different things that was causing problems. So I had sinus surgery. I didn't think I was be out that long. I thought maybe just a couple weeks, and with the way the sinus surgery went, it put me out for a couple months. But with me being out from that, I still was able to do some light training and do some just some mitt work and different things like that so that I stay kind of active. And then the other one, it was just kind of like a little knee boo-boo. Right now I'm 100%. I mean, the last couple months I've been training really hard, and I think that I'm 100% for this fight.
Any truth to the rumor that when Strikeforce offered you the fight against Chad Griggs, you replied, who?
No, there's no truth to that. You know, when I actually called them because they didn't know I was even going to be ready for this fight. And I called Bob and Scott. I tried to get a hold of anyone I can get a hold of when they cleared me. And I called them up. I was like, please, if you guys have anything for this next card, let me get on it. And they said, well, hold on a second. Let's see who we have. And then they sent over a few names, and they said, all right, you got this guy. And, of course, the first thing you do is you got to go find out who the person is. Of course, if they would have said some of the bigger names, if they would have said like the Rogers or Overeem or something like that, of course I would have known. But of course, anyone else I'd have to do a little bit of research on. Even if I didn't know them, I would still do the research. So when they said Chad Griggs, first thing we did was, check online, see what he'd been doing, and try to get some video on him. There's not very much on him, but had a good record, and I think the fans would have been pleased with that fight, finding somebody that's 8-1 when I'm 5-0. So I said, let's do it.
He hasn't fought since April of 2009. That's the last time he competed. And, of course, he's a full-time firefighter as well. When you did your research on him, I know there's not a lot of footage out there on him. What did you take away from it all?
Well, like you said, there's not very much footage, so I couldn't really see too much on him. Don't know what he's been doing. Don't know how he's been training. But I think right now I'm so early on in my MMA career that I'm still working on every aspect of the game. So I'm not gonna look at this guy and say, okay, he's good at this, so let's focus our training on that. No, I'm just gonna keep training on everything, and then just get ready as best I possibly can. I got to be 100% regardless of what he throws at me. So if he wants to strike, I got to be confident with my striking. If we go down to the ground, then my wrestling and jiu-jitsu skills got to kick in. So at this point, the fights that I have, I'm just going to continue working on everything. I'll look at the video of my fighters so that we won't have any surprises. But with this guy, it's not much that we can find out. We know that he's going to come at me hard. I mean, it's his big chance.
Right, of course. Do you feel as though, this guy, he says that he's just another opponent. People are calling him that. Do you feel as though he's just going to come in there, balls to the wall, nothing to lose, and just throw everything at you?
That'd be cool. If he does it, I think I don't know. He has 9 fights, so he's not. I don't think he's just going to come crazy because there's 3 rounds there. If he goes all out in the first round, he's going to get taken down. And he's going to run out of energy. I mean, really quick. Right. I'll suck the life out of him. So I think he's going to play a little smarter, maybe kind of feel it out a little bit, try to see where he can work and find an angle, and so that he can go in there and maybe catch a shot or something like that. I think he has a better game plan than most people may think.
How does it feel to have this massive bullseye on your back? Everyone wants to fight you, and everyone wants to be the first one to beat you. How does that feel?
I'm used to it. I mean, in reference, when I wrestled in college, I won nationals my sophomore year. So from my sophomore year, my junior year, and my senior year, I had a bullseye on my back the entire time. So there's always guys that are out there. And in wrestling terms, they would throw that headlock because, it's not the greatest move, but if they catch that headlock and pin me, then wow, they just beat the national champion. So this is nothing different. I mean, down here, I'm not the champ, but I think some people are putting me in the light of being the champ in some sense, because they're like, man, if I can beat Bobby, I'm going to be that big name. I'm going to make a name for myself. So I just have to train and prepare even harder, which I don't mind doing.
Can we clear the air right here, right now? Your mindset on your career, because I've heard you say, either give me Fedor or build me up. What exactly do you want? How would you like to see your career progress?
I want to be a lifer, man. I want to be somebody that has longevity in the business. So in order to do that, I have to learn every aspect of the game. I want to move up. I want to get belted in jiu-jitsu. I want to move up in the ranks. I want to be real professional with my striking. My wrestling's down, but I'm still working my wrestling to keep my wrestling sharp. So right now, I think that I'm moving in the right direction because, with 5-0 right now, I don't think it's really smart for somebody that's 5-0 to be going against somebody that's 30-1 or 30-2. I mean, 30 fights as compared to 5 fights, it's not really what I want to do. But when I feel ready to fight, I think, I'm going to ramp up my training a little bit more this next year. So next year, hopefully, I will get an opportunity to fight some of those higher level fighters in the Strikeforce roster, because I think, the heavyweights in Strikeforce, I think they're comparable to the heavyweights in the UFC. I mean, there's some great guys in there. Fedor, Overeem, give Rogers, Arlovsky, Bigfoot, all those guys. I mean, these are tough fighters. Cormier's coming up really, really well also. So I think this year is going to be a big year for me. I just have to keep training and keep moving and not listen to these people that are in the forums, the 16-year-old kids that are like, you should be fighting Superman. No, I'm not going to listen to those guys. I'm going to play it smart, because when I get the chance to fight those guys, I'm going to be ready for those guys, not just jumping into a fight that I may not be ready for.
Do you feel as though you receive unfair criticism?
Yeah, of course. But, with that being said, there's nothing I'm going to do to change some people's views. I can win the title tomorrow and they're going to say, oh, well, he's not this or he's not that. Because I was there, because everybody kind of compares me to Brock to an extent. When Brock won his title, what did they do? They booed him. How do you boo somebody when they win the title? Because if they don't have respect for you at the beginning, they're never going to have respect for you. But the one thing they have to respect is martial arts. If somebody came in, they had a black belt in jiu-jitsu, oh, man, he has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, they give him mad respects. But me, I have a black belt in wrestling, if that's the way you want to look at it. I won 3 national championships. I took second at the world championships. So I have a black belt in wrestling. So if you can't respect me for anything else, respect me for that. Don't look at the WWE and say, oh, this guy was in the WWE and he was on TV, so he didn't do anything else, and don't have respect for him. I respect everyone. If you have boxing background, Muay Thai background, kickboxing background, jiu-jitsu background, I respect everybody in the game. And that's all I try to get for myself is respect in the business.
Do you think that maybe some of the reasons why people criticize you is this is your 6th pro fight coming up? Brock has also competed in only 6 pro fights. And you look at the guys he's fought, Frank Mir, Randy Couture, just beat Shane Carwin fighting Cain Velasquez next. And they look at your guys and, those names don't compare to Brock's names. Do you feel as though that's why sometimes people point the finger and say, you're not fighting the top guys?
Yeah, I think that could be part of it. I think because that wrestling background, they want to hate us from coming with the professional wrestling background, because that's all they see. They want to hate us for coming into it. So at first they think, oh man, you guys suck. But then when you see Brock doing this stuff, oh, maybe these guys are superhuman, and they want to compare us. But me and Brock have 2 different game plans when coming into it. I knew what Brock wanted to do, and he had a great career. I don't know how long he's going to go with it, but I think he's doing great right now. He's, his next fight is going to be tough. He has Cain Velasquez, so let's see.
Do you like being compared to him?
I don't want to be compared to anyone. That's why I try to separate myself. That's why I took the path that I took, and moving up a little slower. I mean, if you want to give me, I will.
You say the F word?
No. I don't want to be compared to anybody else. I'm doing my own thing. I'm moving the way that I think I should be moving, and I think I'm doing it the right way.
Okay, and I don't want to upset you right now, but I have to ask the question about Dave Bautista, because everyone is talking about him coming to Strikeforce, and Scott Coker has said that he's very interested in making this fight. How interested are you in seeing this fight happen? And I see you're getting a little agitated already.
I'm not getting agitated. It's
why? Why does it bother you, the question?
It doesn't bother me. A lot of people have been asking me about that. If they want to make the fight happen, it seems like a lot of people are saying it, but it's going to be the same thing that you just talked about. I take the fight with Dave. You know what the critics are going to say?
A lot of things.
And that's the only reason that I want to take it, because that's a fight for the fans. You know, if the fans want to see that fight, it is entertainment. So, I mean, if they want to see the fight, I'll take the fight. But the way that I'm moving, I don't want to take the fight next year. If I take the fight, it's got to be like right after this one. And that's the only chance I'm going to give him. I mean, if he wants to fight me, we can fight then. And then after that, because I have to keep moving. I have to keep moving in the right direction. I'm not going to be at 5-0 looking at somebody that hasn't had a fight saying, I want to fight that guy, or looking at somebody with a lesser record than me. I want to fight somebody that always has a better record than me. And
How close is the fight to happening? Sorry to interrupt.
How close is it to happening? I haven't heard anything. You know, the only thing that I hear stuff from is from people that ask me questions about it. I think Dave's manager came on, or Dave may have came on, maybe TMZ or one of the sites, and said that he wants to fight me. I don't know how serious he is about it, but if he wants to fight me, I'll fight him.
Do you feel as though he's sort of calling you out here?
I think so. I don't think any other fight makes sense for him right now. If he wants to get into it and he wants to have a big fight, let's fight me.
I just recently spoke to Paul Heyman. Of course, you remember Paul very well. He did not seem all that optimistic about what Dave Bautista can do in an MMA cage. What do you think he could do? Do you think he could be a force? Do you think he could give you a tough fight?
Well, since there's a possibility of that fight happening, Dave would be a really tough person to fight. He has a lot of skills in MMA. His jiu-jitsu is, I don't know. I know Dave is someone that works hard. I know he does work hard, because I mean, even though it's sports entertainment, in order to make it to the level that he made it, you have to work hard. So Dave is going to be really comfortable in front of crowds. You know, that's part of the game also. Getting in that cage and hearing all those people cheering or booing or whatever it is, and being able to stay, you know, under composure and go out there and fight. I know he's going to have that. And then he's training with a good camp. I know he's at the Cesar Gracie camp, and he's working with those guys and learning everything he can right now. And he's not afraid to work. So if he's serious about taking the fight, I know that he's going to come in there at least. I know he's going to come in there as ready as he possibly can be. Where that is, we don't know.
2 final questions before I take up any more of your time. What is likely to happen first? You fighting Dave Bautista or Shane Del Rosario? Because that's a fight that's been talked about a lot lately.
I think we should just make it a 3-way fight. Just put them both in the cage. We'll all just start swinging and punching.
I'm sure the critics would love that.
Yeah, I don't really care. I don't really care. I'll let Coker decide on those. You know, for me, all I'm going to do is train. I'm going to let my trainers, you know, just tell me, all right, this is where we need to go and this is what we need to do. And I'm just going to train.
Do you miss the world of pro wrestling?
Of course. Pro wrestling's great. It's I had a great time, and I traveled all around the world and met a lot of great people, and pro wrestling kind of made the name Bobby Lashley. Even though, you know, it's my name, it kind of made it more mainstream. So I'm never one of those guys that after I leave pro wrestling, start bad mouthing it. I don't. I have a lot of fans that are still pro wrestling fans that are switching over and watching MMA at the same time, because, you know, they want to see how I'm doing over here, but I picked them up from the pro wrestling side. So I do miss pro wrestling. Whether I go back to it, don't know.
That was the next question.
But right now, all my attention is focused on fighting. So I'm not even really thinking about that right now.
Who's coming to the show from the pro wrestling community on Saturday?
I know Booker's coming. I know he's going to be here tonight. I extended an invitation out to a couple of other guys. Maybe the Undertaker might come down here. The Boogeyman's going to be here, and I don't know who else. There's a lot of them that live in Houston, so I'm sure they'll all drive down here or give me a buzz within probably today or tomorrow and try to come down and check out the show.
All right, Bobby, always a pleasure. Best of luck. Thank you so much for the time.
Cool. Thanks, man.